We're seeing some really great social media footage of the post-open celebrations going on with Ryan, Ricky Fowler, Justin Thomas. They're having champagne out of the claret jug. Good or bad for the game at this point, Ryan?
Oh, I'm really torn on this, Jess, because I love what these guys do for the game. Their presence on social media, they're good buddies. Jordan, Ricky, Smiley, Justin Thomas, they're all good buds, and they're in their early 20s, so I get it. But I have to ask myself, is it good for the game in the sense that where's the cutthroatness from some of these players? Could you ever see Tiger and Phil hanging out like this after one of them won a major, or even Jack and Arnie back then? I mean, congratulating their good buddy Jordan, I understand that, and they're probably flying back with him or whatnot, but holding the claret jug that Ricky and Justin clearly have not won yet. Hey, Ricky had a lot of expectations. I would view this as a very disappointing week for Ricky Fowler, yet he's hanging out, you know, holding the claret jug, mock drinking out of it. I don't know, Alan. I'm curious to hear your take because I go back and forth on this. They do so much good for the game with their youth in growing the game, but at some point, it's like seeing Michael Jordan and Magic Johnson hanging out after the NBA Finals. I just don't see it.
Well, it's just a different era in sports. I mean, to use your NBA analogy, now all the top players are scheming to get on the same team, and they hang out in the off season, and they text each other as to recruit one to the next, super squad. It's just a different era in sports where the top players are a lot chummier. Social media is part of that. As you say, I like that old school flintiness, but those days are gone. I mean, these guys grew up together in junior golf. They travel the world together. They share houses. I think there's nothing wrong with celebrating your friend's achievement the way these guys have, and theoretically, it'll motivate the Justin Thomases and then the Ricky Fowlers to want to have that jug for themselves. But a funny postscript to this is a couple of years ago there was a swank dinner in Pebble Beach, and it was when Phil Mickelson was the defending champion, and he brought the claret jug, and everyone got to drink wine out of it. And Nick Faldo was at that dinner. And he said he had never had a drop of alcohol out of the jug. This is a guy who won the tournament 3 times, but it was such a sacred thing. He felt like it somehow diminished the importance of the achievement and desecrated the trophy. It tells you a little bit more about Nick Faldo and maybe a little bit about Phil Mickelson and their different personalities. But so everyone approaches it differently. And in fact, Faldo did have a little wine that night. So, even the crustiest of the old school guys will take a sip out of someone else's jug once in a while. But it's funny. I think to answer the question, is it good for the game? Sure. I mean, the whole world is seeing these guys. They're likable. They're good looking. They're agreeable. And I think this just adds a whole other layer to the victory and takes it to a larger audience. So I think it's good for the game. Is it good for Justin Thomas or Ricky Fowler? Who knows? But for fans and for casual sports fans who are seeing this, I think they're like, these guys are cool, and I think it's added another layer to the whole thing.
Fair enough. And a swanky dinner at Pebble Beach. No surprise, Alan Shipnuck either knew about it or was there himself. Not shocked there.